Hey, we're Mason and Sarah and we're turning this four-wheel drive Toyota Hiace Commuter into a camper van. And this is the second episode of our build series.
In this episode, we finish off our cabinetry and build overhead storage, install the roof racks and awning, create a tiled splashback, install the black butt cabinetry fronts, install our sink and tap, hook up our electrical system, and lots more. Can we just take a second to appreciate this sunshine? I reckon we manifested this because at the end of last episode, we were saying how bad the weather was and we were saying that we'll see you in the next episode when there's some sunshine. And look at it today, we are stoked.
We bought it out for this episode and today we're pretty much, now that we've got some good weather, we're going to finish off all this cabinetry. So in the last episode, you would have seen all the 18mm ply get a start on. Today, we're going to do all the 12mm ply and all the cupboard front. So that's what we're working on now while we've got some good weather. So we'll show you what we're up to with it.
Yeah, let's get stuck into it. So we've cut and built our first piece of 12mm cabinetry. It's just this storage box next to the bed couch area. And then over here, Mason is unboxing our fridge and we're going to put that in.
So the fridge we're using is just the 65 litre from Bushman's this time. So just open it up. So there, and a little freezer compartment as well.
Pretty big freezer.
It is, isn't it?
Yeah.
The size of the fridge, it's awesome.
Now that we've got all of our cabinetry fixed in, I'm starting to lay the flooring. So I'm just cutting the laminate flooring with the drop saw, liquid nailing them to the subfloor. But the colour that we're using is the same as our last van build, mink oak. It's just from Bunnings. And it seems to go with everything. Like we use this in all of our van builds, so would recommend. So we got a couple of things done yesterday, but we didn't really film very much. But
Nah, we kind of forgot.
Yeah, but we got the fridge in, the flooring in, and we finished building all the 12mm ply. So there's a rear drawer that's been built.
And a kitchen as well. Yeah.
So I'll show you all them soon. But what's our plan for today?
Our plan for today is to do the overhead cupboards, the black butt front. I don't know if we've even said that we're doing.
No, we haven't actually.
Yeah, we're going to be doing black butt for all of our drawer fronts and our cupboard fronts. So that is the plan for today.
Yeah, I'll show you what that looks like as well. But we haven't used the black butt.
I've not tried it yet before.
Black butt?
Black butt.
Black butt before.
So
but
it's a birch ply with a black butt is like the front layer of the ply. So
yeah,
we haven't tried it before.
Yeah, but it looks really nice. So I'll show you what we did yesterday and I'll also show the black butt. And then we'll get into today's jobs.
At the back here, we just have a rear drawer.
You right?
For storage, yeah, tongue-tied for a bit. So that's just on them heavy-duty locking slides.
Then we'll come around the side.
I have not mounted the pull-out kitchen yet. Oh my god, it's got stuff in it. That's right. Just the tap. But
Not prepared for this video. Yeah, that's our pull-out kitchen.
that just needs to be mounted onto the drawer slides. And the drawer front needs to go on the front of it as well.
So this is our fridge in. It's got some nice finger marks on the front, needs a bit of a clean, but we've got some drawer slides as well above it and in this section next to it because we're going to have a couple of drawers. And then this is our flooring done as well. So there's actually a lot more flooring in this van, like more floor space, which is nice because we've got the pack up, set up bed, couch area at the back. So it's nice to see a bit more flooring because I do love this floor. It looks really good. So Mason has spent this morning cutting all of our black butt cabinetry front. So this is all of them here. They just need a sand and a stain though. So I will show you exactly what we're using them for once they've been sanded and stained and they're ready to be mounted.
What I'm doing now is I've just attached that overhead cupboard frame just to the roof with 3 screws. What I'm going to do now is grab the bottom piece for the overhead cupboard. I'm going to clamp it on and just scribe it out along the wall before attaching it. Now that I have the frame mounted and I've also scribed out this bottom bit here, I'm just working on the side panels and the fronts now. So I've made up this template and I've attached it, and I'm also going to use it as my template for the other side. So get them all perfect and then I'll actually fix them on properly and then I'll do the cupboard fronts.
So while Mason is finishing those overhead cabinets, I've got all those pieces of black butt for our cabinetry fronts and drawer fronts here. They just need a sand and a stain and then they'll be ready to be mounted in the van.
I have mounted the pull-out kitchen on
on the drawer slides now. So it's just on the locking tabs. Sarah's just finished staining up the drawer front, so we'll be able to add that on now as well. Above the fridge here and above the toilet cabinet, we're actually going to do 2 big drawers. Well, they're quite actually deep. So we're going to do 2 drawers above those things now. I'm just going to build them out of our offcuts of the white ply. So I've just quickly whipped up that first drawer. It's pretty damn big. So plenty of space for all your kitchen items and cutlery and stuff maybe. Go in there. And I'll just whip up this one now. And that's the other drawer finished. So now in the kitchen, we've got, well, inside the van, I guess it's like the kitchen area, we've got 2 decent sized drawers. So they just need the cupboard fronts on. That's what Sarah's working on currently. Just sit inside the van now because I need to take some measurements for what I'm working on next. What I'm going to work on now is the window frames and the window sills. So what I'll build first is like the window sill that'll sit internally. And then once I've built them for all 3 windows, I'll then build the window frames. What I'm going to build these out of, I think we've got a bit of shiplap laying around, so the actual wall panels, because they're white and they're like, I've got offcuts laying around, I'm just going to rip them down to maybe a 60-70 thickness. I haven't actually decided yet. I think that's what I normally do though. Whatever's going to really look best, and then I'll just build them all out and frame it all up so it'll look nice and neat. These are the offcuts that I'm just going to use for the windowsills. It's just the wall panels, and I'm just going to rip them down to it. I took the measurements inside, like from the edge of the wall into like the infill of the window, and it's about 60 mil. So that's what I'm going to rip them all down to now, and then I'll start cutting them to the size of the actual window frame. I have just finished all the rips, so I've ripped them all down to 60 mil. Now I'm going to make them all fit the window frames. And meanwhile, we've just got the little roof rack installer working away up there. Look at her go. I'm so proud of her. Up the ladder she goes. Oh, nearly lost it. Got that on camera. I have just cut the first one to fit. So get the idea, it's just going to sit in there, and then I'll just do a couple fixing points in, and then continue it all the way around the window.
Back into the van build after a day off on the weekend, which was nice, but we're nearly finished framing those windows, and then we've also built this shelf. So we built this last week and gave it a stain, but this shelf is going to go up above the kitchen area here, and then it'll continue into the overheads, which will be over the bed couch area. But going to mount this today, hopefully mount the overheads, mount all of our black butt pieces, and should be looking pretty good by the end of the day. I've got our overhead cupboards out here, and we've actually changed them up a little bit. We had 3 sections previously, but to make the doors work with the timber that we had left, we had to do 4 cupboard fronts, so we've changed it to have sort of 4 sections. But before they go up, I am attaching a strip light underneath. So this is one we're using, and I'll flip the cupboards over actually and show you how we're doing it. So on the underside of our overhead cupboard, sort of on the back edge, we've routed this line all the way along. That is the same thickness as the strip light that we're using. So that will just sit in there nicely like that. It might need a bit of glue. It is self-adhesive, but I'm not sure how well it sticks to timber. So might need a bit of glue. And then once it's all connected up to the electrical system, it should make a really nice feature. All right, so that's the strip light all installed in that little piece that we routed out. It stuck really well with the adhesive that was on the back, so we didn't need any glue. And then just on the inside is where the cable is. So Mason drilled a hole and we pulled the cable through, and then he's also ran a cable for it in the wall. So we'll attach that up when we're up to doing the electrical.
All right, so this is the 175 watt solar panel that we're gonna have mounted to the roof. What I've just done then, Sarah attached all the legs for me earlier, but I was just chucked them up on the roof just for a dry run to see how the legs would fit, and I actually had to re-drill some new holes just to fit it in between these 2 gutter bits. So the legs have all been adjusted now. I'm going to take it off, put a bit of butyl tape on the bottom, and then I'll also silicone up the legs, and then I'll mount it into the roof.
So another thing that we are working on today is our interior kitchen area. So we've got like our fridge and stuff down there, and then Mason cut the bench top just out of white ply, and we're going to have a sink and tap on this side. And we've framed up the window, and we've sort of clamped on a piece at the back, so this becomes like a little shelf behind this window here. But we've also put this piece of very thin, I think it's 4mm ply, over the wall, because we're using these tiles. They're just from Bunnings. I actually don't know what they're called. They're like crazy paving tiles. And we're going to tile over this piece that we've just put up. So that is the next job. But I'm actually going to paint it first, so that you don't see like the timber coloured edges, so it matches in with the walls. You'll probably do a bit of silicone or a trim or something along the edges anyway, but I just want to paint it to make sure you don't see any of that brown colour.
It is time for me to install all the hinges for all the cupboard fronts going into this van. So what I'm just using my Craig concealed hinge jig to install all of them. So I've just done the first one, drilled that out, and then I'll do the same on that side, and then I'll mount those hinges, and that's ready to go into the van.
So I've done the tiles behind the interior kitchen area. I'm going to let them dry overnight, and then I will grout them tomorrow. And then Mason is just continuing on with all those drawer fronts and cabinetry fronts. He did them around the back as well, so I'll show you what they look like. So this is how the fronts have come up around the back. The van's an absolute mess, but yeah, it's looking good. Getting there. Okay, it's the end of the day. We've got all of our black butt done, the tiles done, and we mounted our shelf and our overheads. Still need to do the cupboard fronts on them.
Run out a bit of time, but got the strip light in. They're all mounted, so it's looking pretty sweet, isn't it? Tiles look sweet.
Good morning.
Good morning.
We've got my coffee.
The final day of the build.
No, it's not.
It is.
No, it's not.
Setting the big goal today. We're going to get it done.
No, we're not. We've still got probably a few more days.
But we're getting close. So what I'm going to do first thing in the morning is, Sarah's just about to start grouting these tiles up. But before she does that, I'm going to cut the sink in and the tap in for her. So that bench top's all pretty much done, and she can do all the grout to it.
So while Mason's cutting in the sink and the tap, I'm just going to sit back and drink my coffee.
So this is the sink cutout that I've got. This is the sink we're going to be using. I've just used that.
The sink looks really bad here, but it's
got like a protective sheeting over it.
Yeah, it's an acrylic sink. We really wanted a white one, but all of the white ones were ceramic, which means they were really heavy, which is not ideal for a van. But
So
we were
kept it nice
able
and
to
light.
find this acrylic one, and it's nice underneath this protective stuff. It just looks a bit
I think we
gross
bought
at
this
the
from
moment.
Outback Equipment, so it's definitely a lot more cost effective, and it's also more lightweight. So I'm just going to cut that out now, and we're going to top mount this into the kitchen bench.
Okay, we got the sinkhole cut in. It's just under here. But we couldn't do the tap because Mason lost his hole saw bit, so we will sort that out later. But I've got my grout mixed up there, so I'm going to start grouting these tiles. And they'll look really good once they're grouted. I finished grouting all of the tiles. It looks so much better with white grout. It'll need a bit of silicone probably along the bottom and around the edges, but that's a job again for another day. We've got our sink in as well. It's got the plastic film on it still, so it looks gross, but yeah, so that's in, and we'll do the tap when Mason finds his hole saw.
This is our table. Moose and I are enjoying our new lounge area that we have built.
That table's not fixed on yet.
The table's not fixed on.
It doesn't spin like that normally.
The table leg is fixed on, but the table top is actually not. But we're just working on it as we speak. But this is going to be a big like horseshoe U-shaped lounge area, but this is also going to drop down into the bed. This might drop really quick, but get a good idea. Watch out, Moose, you're going to get smacked. Just like that. This will
should have done this video when the table was fixed on, but anyway.
Yeah. Anyway, that's that section there, and then we have another little bit that goes there that just completes the bed.
And then this whole area turns into a bed. We've got some cushions coming as well for the bed, but...
What do you reckon, Moose? Pretty comfy? Lots of time. But yeah, first time we've done a pack-up setup bed like this. And I love it. I reckon it's such a cool layout. It gives you so much more usable space. I'm a fan.
She's actually like asleep. She's got her bum on me and her paws
You knackered from the day.
Oh my god.
Oh my god. You gotta be kidding me.
Do we maybe include too much moose content in our videos?
How could you not though? That's
Let
too
us know
cute.
if you're enjoying all the moose content or not. She's actually falling asleep like in this position.
No, nice.
So Mason's just adding some lids to this section here. We've got like a bit of lift up storage. So our pull-out kitchen comes out there. And then above it, inside the van, we're going to have some lift up storage. And we wanted to keep this section low so that you can access the cabin just for safety reasons or whatever. So if needed, this is low enough to jump over into the cabin. And then we've got the rest of the kitchen. Wow, well done. Anyway, we've got the rest of the kitchen continuing around here. Check this out. It's another beautiful day. And the first thing that we did today was work on our little kitchen area. So mounted the bench top and fixed the sink in. And also we were able to install our tap because we went to Bunnings last night and got a hole saw bit. So that's our kitchen area coming together. And Mason currently is putting the cupboard fronts on the overheads. So we've got 2 done, 2 to go, and they're looking pretty good as well. Oh.
I'm actually just going to walk across it because that's how good of a day I'm having.
Mason, the day's been fine. That's so dramatic.
Keep
Apart from all these that we've dropped.
This is the second time I've dropped this box of screws today.
So we're sort of in the stage of the build where we're nearly finished the building part. I reckon we've got one more day, but we're just doing lots of odd jobs.
You look at our list and there's just so much to do. So like at first glance it's kind of overwhelming, but yeah, it's a lot of little quick things that we're just smacking over now.
Yeah, and then next up, so probably, yeah, one more day of building, and then next up is like finish the plumbing and electrical, and I'll make the blinds, and then
Should be all done.
nearly
Yeah.
finished.
So good.
But a few of those little odd jobs include like this trim along the back here, and then Mason framed up the step, and then it just needs to be covered with some flooring, and then that'll need some trims around the edges as well. So that's what's next on our jobs this afternoon, and then we'll continue just like all this sort of little stuff into tomorrow as well. So it's a bit of a mess in here. Mason's half-eaten pie is on the counter there. But we're sort of just pottering still with some odd jobs. We attached our RV Labs latches. They're gold to match the tap, so they go really nice with the rest of the kitchen. Mason, what are you doing?
I'm just getting the start on all the electrical now. So currently I am just mounting our 4 downlights that we've got in the roof. So they're going to be a warm white colour. And then I'm just going to work my way through to the electrical and then end up in the fuse section down here.
So this is the box.
Yeah, so that'll store our battery, inverter and everything in there.
Yeah,
So that's where
the
I'll end up.
electrical box. There's just a whole lot of stuff in it at
All
the
our
moment.
electrical stuff is sitting in there.
But that's, yeah, like Mason said, where the battery and stuff will sit. So that's sort of where we're at the moment. A few days of this and then close to finished.
Pretty much done.
So I actually made a mistake when we did the wiring, and I'm currently fixing it. So what I've done is this cable up here was meant to be our fan. And when I first did the original rough in of the wiring, I forgot to do the fan at the end, and I only had a little bit of cable left. So I couldn't run anything. I was like, I'll just connect it in with the lights. So I hooked a loop in with the lights. And what I've just actually realized now, like a couple of weeks later, is that that fan will only work when the lights are on because of where I've put it in the terms of like the actual wire. So that's not going to work because obviously you're going to want to use the fan at night time. So what I've had to do is drill a hole
managed to get the yellow tongue through the wall and actually down. So I've bought some more cable and I'm just running a whole new cable for the fan. So now the fan will actually work on its own separate circuit instead of jumping it into the lights. So lucky I could get that cable down because I was starting to stress that I wasn't going to be able to do. But that was a mistake I made and lucky I could fix it.
It's such a mess in here while Mason's doing all the electrical, but I finished the blinds and I hung them up. They look so cute. I gotta take them down because they're gonna get dirty in here, but I just wanted to hang them to see how they look. So I've got another one over there under like where the kitchen is, and then one on this side. I'll roll one down and show you what it looks like. So this is a blind roll down. There's just like a rod pocket in the top and then a rod pocket down the bottom with a timber rod in it. So it's like a manual roll up. My label's still on it. And then you just secure it at the top with these tabs and the pressed studs. But how's it going, Mason?
I am probably about half an hour till I'm done. Currently on the electrical.
Half an hour till we got power?
Yes, half an hour till we got power and the lights will be on. I'm just doing up the last bits of the 12 volt fusing and then I need to connect the inverter. And then I also need to do I haven't fit off the fan yet that I stuffed up earlier. So once I fix up that, we're all good for power.
Nice.
Yeah. All right, so I still need to connect the switch, but our lights work. So a little sneak preview of what's in store.
Where's the fourth one? There it is at the back.
At the back.
Look at that.
Strobe light.
Mason.
Unfortunately, I forgot to film me doing any of the plumbing bits. So I'm just going to talk you through it, what I've done. On the outside of this couch bit here, just installed a water tank gauge, just so you can see the levels of the water tank. Under this bit of the couch/bed bit, we've actually got our water tank stored. So in there is a 55 litre tank. Got our breather, our inlet from outside of the van, and then we just got the outlet bit that runs to the sink. And then we've just got the water tank gauge as well. And then got our tap there as well. And then underneath this section here is actually where our pump is stored and our grey water that runs out of the van and then just through the floor. So on the back side of this cupboard here, I just have a switch for the pump. Turn it on and then running water, and then that grey water just runs out of the van there. So it's a pretty basic, easy setup, but it's got plenty of water for what you need for this setup, so it's absolutely perfect.
We're pretty much at the end of the build now.
I'm at the end. I'm clocking off. So.
We're a bit exhausted and frazzled. Probably look a bit frazzled. We're sitting at our little lounge area in the build, but we're still waiting on our cushions for the lounge and the bed.
That's the last thing we pretty much need to be done. So everything else is completed. We're just waiting on the cushions to just finish it off.
Yeah, so once we've got them, we will give a full van tour, but we're so happy with how it's come up.
This is my favourite by far.
Yeah, is this our best van build yet?
Oh, 100%. Like, this layout is absolutely perfect. It's so like nice and warm. Yeah, it feels like there's so much space in it as well. So I'm so happy with how this turned out.
So we will keep you updated with the van tour coming soon and show you the full layout. But for now, we're going to leave the episode. Yeah. We need some rest.
Oh yeah, big rest, big beer, rest, beer, rest. That's the end of the video. And if you like the video, like the video. And if you want to see the van tour and you don't want to miss out, make sure you subscribe to our channel because it's going to be up soon.
We'll see you then.
Beautiful.
Just a little extra behind the scenes. We couldn't be bothered getting our tripod, so we set up the camera like on the windowsill, but the one over there, and then we watched the video back and we realised it was like...
The angle's crap. Well, it's just unflattering, but we're leaving it because we're too tired and we can't be bothered filming a second take, so we're leaving it.
Yeah, so apologies for the angle in the last video, but
you get to see every side of us on this channel.
Especially our double chins.